This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, alrighty. So this is where I'll kind of just like hop into the presentation component of things. All right, so yeah, you can feel free to follow us on social media. Our team is working to get us up and going on social media, but I just want to kind of just give an overview of everything that we've been working on in the past year. We're coming up on a year of being incorporated as a nonprofit organization. I kind of shared about myself already, so I'll skip this. But the main things we'll chat about today are kind of just what is the Christian Mental Health Initiative, what the roles, expectations, and timeline are for people who are volunteering with the organization, and then also how to like actually become a volunteer, which is hopefully not too confusing. All right. So, no. So to start off, so Christian Mental Health Initiative, it's a nonprofit where our main goal is to increase the mental health literacy of Christians around the world. And I say around the world because we already have an international reach where we have started in Pennsylvania, but we have collaborated already with churches up and down the East Coast in the United States, in the Caribbean, and we recently have had the opportunity to share the work we're doing in London and as well in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. So really being able to impact Christians around the world, and we want to keep expanding on that over time. So this really started out as a presentation with my church, where I talked to my church about depression and dealing with depression as a Christian. And it then became a workshop with my church, specifically for the leaders, talking about mental health and how do leaders deal with mental health in the church. Then it became a research project where I then have been collecting data on the use of mental health first aid for churches. So I've been presenting this data or the data at conferences, and we're at the point now where we're starting to write our manuscripts to be able to publish this work. Because for me, it was really important that, as you know, as an academic physician, wanting to make sure that the work we're doing with Christian Mental Health Initiative is evidence-based. So then that's where Christian Mental Health Initiative actually became incorporated. So the first three parts of this all started in 2020 actually, like just at the beginning of the pandemic, and we incorporated in May of 2022. And we got our nonprofit status in August of 2022. So I'll skip through these because I already talked about that. But our goals for the Christian Mental Health Initiative are to first help Christians define and differentiate mental health and spiritual health. So a lot of the workshops we host, talks that I do, the information we put on our blog website are about helping Christians differentiate these two topics. Then we offer mental health first aid trainings to people who are interested. So as Eugene shared, that's how he found out about us. Yeah. We work with church leaders and members to identify what's useful for their communities. So for instance, there's a church in Southwest Philly that we partner with where in talking with them, they said that mental health first aid didn't really make sense for their church population based on the demographics, age-wise, socioeconomically, things like that. So we created a customized workshop for that church, and we're continuing to engage with them over time. So this is the type of thing that we have done in the past. And currently there are about 6 that I can think off the top of my head, churches kind of in our pipeline who want us to be able to do similar workshops with them, which is part of why we're reaching out for volunteers, because it's getting to the point where the need is there and we just need more people to help us kind of fulfill this mission of doing this work, collaborating with churches and other organizations who want to be able to emphasize mental health and how can people get access to knowledge and access to care. And then that kind of goes into this last part of our goal is to provide faith-based mental health information and resources. And our website, one of the goals on our resource page is that we want it to be a page where Christians can go to christianmentalhealthinitiative.org/mental health resources and find tons of different resources that are to help them manage and navigate mental health challenges through the lens of Christianity. So here's kind of a summary of what we've achieved in 2022. It's not all inclusive, but it gives you an idea of what we've done. So last year, we trained 35 members and leaders in mental health first aid. We did train 9 members in youth mental health first aid. So there's a difference between adult mental health first aid and youth mental health first aid. The website was launched in August. So we had almost 600 website views. The mental health resources page gets the most views other than our homepage. But the blog posts also get quite a bit of views as well. And since I made these slides, the team has made even more posts that have been published over the past several months. And then we've also last year hosted 8 mental health seminars and workshops in churches across the East Coast. And for the most part, these workshops and seminars have been virtual, but some of them were in person, particularly the ones in Philadelphia. And then, as I mentioned, we had different international presentations throughout the Caribbean as well. So did some of those virtual seminars in Jamaica and Barbados, and then the presentation in the Netherlands, and then also the one that was in January in London. So our goals going forward, again, this is where you all come into play, is that we want to keep doing this work and keep just reaching more people. So our goal for this year is to train 10 Christians in adult mental health first aid. With our first training already, I think there were 12 of you in the group, Eugene, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so, about 12.
Yeah, so just continuing to host more and more of these trainings over the course of the year. We want to train 50 Christians in youth mental health first aid. So recognizing that the mental health needs of children is a bit different than that of adults. We want to make sure that our website is getting even more views because honestly, the volunteer teams have done such a great job of creating content that we want to make sure that it's reaching people who could benefit from it. The team is also adding more resources to the page. New blog posts are being written. We want to host additional seminars going forward. And our big flagship event for 2023 is we're in the works of planning a virtual mental health symposium titled Faith, Meds, and Therapy, where we'll be reaching out to Christians. We're aiming to reach anyone, honestly, in the country who wants to come in and learn about this. We'll probably share with our Caribbean connections as well. But bringing in speakers across a bunch of different backgrounds. So some physicians, faith leaders, we're bringing in community members to be able to speak about different aspects of mental health, all through the lens of Christian faith. So that's going to happen on May 13th. That's the exact 1-year anniversary, actually, of our incorporation during the month of Mental Health Awareness Month in May. So our team, just to give you a sense, you can see some folks' pictures on our websites. Not everyone has given us their pictures yet for the website, but the board members include myself, Karen George Alexander, she's our treasurer, Alicia Reginald is our secretary. Our research team are members that I work with at Penn, who are a part of this research project for mental health first aid. If you are interested, I know there's some medical students in the group, some residents in the group. If you're interested in growing, being a part of our research team, the project we just did was a pilot, and we're hoping over time to get grant funding to expand the mental health first aid project more broadly across the Philadelphia area and then beyond. From a volunteer perspective, we have a pretty hearty team. We meet once a month. Everyone's split up into committees, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But so this is part of why we're chatting tonight, because I'm hoping that you would be interested in becoming a volunteer to join this really fun, God-loving group of people that we have for our volunteer committees. And then we also have community collaborators. So the community collaborators are basically people who, as the title suggests, are part of various communities and really are liaisons between Christian Mental Health Initiative and the various community organizations that they may be involved with. So that's another role that we're seeking assistance with as we continue to grow. So the roles and expectations of volunteers, that's what I'll chat about for the next few minutes. So what we're really seeking additional volunteers right now for are the points that I highlighted in red. So for each of these different committees, we meet once a month, typically within the first or second week of each month. We have a social media team, a community engagement team, website management, blog publication team, resource compilation, and fundraising and grant writing team. So far, actually, we've been able to get a $300 grant from Penn that's going to go towards helping us with the mental health symposium that's coming up in May. But you know, with all the need that people are coming to us with, we really would love to have a team to help us fundraise more, to get more grants, to be able to really address the needs of all of the churches that are starting to come to us seeking help. Because I think one of the things that I would love to do sooner rather than later is get someone on staff, if even part-time, but we would need funding for that. So to get into detail, because as I said, the 4 points in red are the ones that we're really actively seeking volunteers for at this moment. So I'll talk in more detail about those committees in particular. So first, there's community engagement. So this is really honestly, all of the committees are very important, but community engagement in particular, we're looking for help because as I said, we have all of these churches lined up. I have a full-time job. I know people are working, and the ability to really connect with the communities to the level that they deserve, and with the churches or the other faith-based organizations, we're looking to build a model where each volunteer kind of has control of one or two organizations that they are directly working with. So for instance, one of the churches we work with in Southwest Philadelphia, Cassandra, she's our community collaborator. She is our liaison to the church in Southwest Philadelphia. So we're looking to build out our team. The people who are currently on the community engagement team are kind of splitting up amongst themselves the churches and organizations we currently partner with to see who will take lead for each organization. But we want to bring on more people to the team to also be these representatives to the churches who are seeking our support. So that's the community building aspect of community engagement, but then also helping to host workshops at churches. So for instance, community engagement members came to the workshop at that church in Southwest Philly to help run the workshop. We're doing another one at a church in Northwest Philly. When is that? In April. So volunteers will be part of that to help us table and give out resources at that church. Helping to develop mental health response teams. So to be quite honest, points 3 and 4, those are kind of like the aspirational points, probably not for 2023, to be honest. I think probably for 2024 and onward. So I would say to just look specifically at points 1 and 2 of community building as the goal, and then hosting these different workshops that we have throughout the year. Social media is another one that we really need some help with as well. So we recently kind of got all of our accounts in line. It was a lot more challenging, honestly, than I expected it to be, just to like make these accounts, because they were like, what's the word? Marking us as like spam on TikTok. We got like put on child lock. It was a whole bunch of nonsense going on, but all of our accounts are now up and running. So I think we have 2 people right now on the social media management team, but because we have 5, I believe it is, either 5 or 6 different social media accounts, having more people on the team will help us to decrease the amount of work that each person has to do. And I'll get into that in a moment, because it's really important to me that Christian Mental Health Initiative is not too time intensive. So then the fundraising and grant writing component. So some of the ways that we hope to raise funds, for instance, the mental health symposium, it is free, but we will request that people give a donation of some sort for each person who registers. We have merchandise that I'll share a picture of later on that people can purchase that kind of represent the idea of faith and mental health colliding. And all of the proceeds from those, the merchandise will go towards the organization. And then grant, and also just kind of outright just asking people for money will be part of our plan. And then applying to grants as well. So if you're someone who sees that you are kind of money minded, wanting to be able to maybe grow a skill set of writing grants, this could be an avenue for you to join the team. And then website management. This one is also super important. We had been paying someone to help us with the website, but he sort of just disappeared, honestly. So we haven't been able to update the website in a couple of months. I'm able to do like basic things with WordPress, but he made the website, and he made some kind of like higher tech functionalities that I don't feel comfortable messing with the code. So if you do have that expertise, that would be really great to help us, especially updating the mental health resources page. I've been working to try to find someone else on like Upwork or Fiverr or something like that to help us, but haven't really found a good fit. So if you are someone who is, tech savvy to that extent of being able to manage a WordPress website, your assistance would be greatly appreciated. So the expectations for volunteers, honestly, they're not that high, in the sense that I really just want people who are eager, positive, bringing an attitude of service to our community. As I mentioned before, I feel like God has just blessed me with bringing such great volunteers already. And we're hoping to just expand that team to build and bring in even more people who are eager about bringing mental health services to the church. It's important for us that you as a volunteer will represent the Christian Mental Health Initiative in a Christ-like manner, meaning, living in a what would Jesus do kind of way. And then next, each volunteer will own specific tasks and firmly adhere to agreed upon deadlines. So this for me is something that's pretty important, and it's been great working with the team because the team has done this. When we have our team meetings, we leave each meeting with a specific list of things that each person is supposed to do. I usually try to make it very manageable, of like one to-do item basically for the month. And then adhering to deadlines is also important, but I'm also very flexible to work with, in the sense that if something pops up and you know that you won't be able to adhere to a deadline, it's important to me that you just let me know that in advance, so that we can kind of sort out behind the scenes a new deadline that you will kind of follow. And that's something that I think has worked pretty well with our team, especially recognizing that, just like myself, the volunteers are either full-time students, people with full-time jobs, families, and other things going on. With the other expectations, I hope that you would be aligned with impacting Christian mental health, in the sense of helping Christians manage or improve their mental health. And my hope is that the volunteering is not any more than 2 to 3 hours per month. Again, recognizing that people are busy. So that's why I really try to make sure that the tasks that we assign between each meeting, because that's how we kind of set our deadlines, is basically every meeting, something is due once a month. It's something that shouldn't take any more than 2 to 3 hours. And sorry if you're hearing a lot of background noise behind me. So an example of the timeline for this month, I won't go through the details of everything, but if you were to look at Q1, for instance, so this is January, February, March of 2023, we have monthly volunteer meetings. We're working on plans for the mental health symposium. Our speaker list is almost finalized. I created the event online for people to actually register and things like that. We're continuing to grow on social media. We're looking to establish formal collaborations with 3 of the 6 churches that are currently in our pipeline, so to speak. And then each quarter thereafter is kind of a varying iteration of the same kind of goals. So the last thing, the selection process, again, it's like also not super intense. Basically, I'm just looking for people who are eager to collaborate with church communities, people who have the bandwidth to donate 2 to 3 hours per month, because depending on how your life is set up, like 2 to 3 hours might actually be a lot. But if you have the space to do 2 to 3 hours of volunteering per month, we would be we'd love to work with you. And then if you have a Christian background or an interest in the faith or faith in general, I think that would be important, because basically everyone we touch point with is a person of faith from this organization. So at least having a background of some sort in faith is important, just so that you're able to have that cultural understanding with the people we interact with. Interest in learning more about faith and mental health integration. I think the fact that you're here is probably evidence to that, that you have that interest. And then also it is helpful if you have experience in either community collaboration or nonprofit work. If you don't, that's okay. I think over the past 7 months, I guess it's been that I've been working with the team, 7 months, we really just worked to grow a system. So we'll kind of just help you plug into the system of how we do things, how we're able to be as effective as possible in our process. So yeah, I'm getting to the end, and then we'll open it up for questions. So basically the next question, or this is that QR code I was talking about. So if you wanted to take a moment, I'll leave this up for 10, 15 seconds. If you happen not to be on your phone, to take a look at this website where we have merchandise, various versions of this Jesus Plus Therapy merch. And we're also working to kind of put out additional designs, but basically all proceeds from the purchase of these sweaters and t-shirts and mugs and all the different things we have on there go towards the programming that we have for the Christian Mental Health Initiative. And then here we have the sign up form. I'll also send this out by email, where basically I just want to make sure that I have a collection of everyone's name, email address. You can specifically outline in the form which committees you're interested in, why you're interested in those committees, and what experience you have related to whether it's community engagement, social media management, website management, or what was the other one, fundraising. and then also a CV just for our organization's or CV or resume for our organization's records. And also an important thing with that is I'm not expecting you to have like a perfect resume or CV, just whatever you have most recent. I'm not asking you to like go and update your CV or anything like that, just so that we have it for our records, because we are like a formal nonprofit. So those are important things for us to just kind of keep track of. So, all right, cool. So that's all I have in terms of the slides. And I want to leave the remaining like 15 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes, just to answer any questions that you all have about CMHI or the volunteer opportunities that we're looking to fill.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. So you have something coming up in May, right? So do you know about the Faith and Spirituality conference they usually have every year and at the conference center downtown?
Yeah, are you talking about the one through the Department of Behavioral Health and
The
Intellectual?
DBHIDS, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so mine, I think that one's in April. I'm pretty sure.
April,
that,
yes, in April.
Yeah.
April, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm aware of that. And I have been chatting with a few folks. I recently chatted with the Deputy Commissioner for DBHIDS, Dr. Wright, and things like that. So yeah, and what I'm actually hoping for, because I signed up to be a speaker at the DBHIDS Faith and Spirituality series. So I'm hoping to actually be able to talk to more people at that conference to just like find more collaborators for the work.
Oh yeah, that's a good place to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you attend that regularly?
Oh, all the yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Cool beans. Yeah, but definitely trying to just plug into other organizations, also to see if DBHIDS has funding because we need money. So things like that.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions or comments, or even just like letting me know what sounds most interesting to you out of the opportunities that we're seeking to fill?
Hi, so I have some experience with like social media, and I also have like my own website. So I mean, I can try to help out with the website, but I really enjoy like putting together different things for like social media. I've done like graphic design and things like that. So I could help out with.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Candice. That's awesome, because the social media team we have, it's a fun team. And I like the women on that team. And I think they have a lot of great ideas. And as someone who used to be way more involved in social media back in the day, I know how much time it takes. So having more hands on deck would definitely be helpful.
Yeah, same here for me. Like, I like the social media part too.
Okay.
I also am involved in making like promotions for my own podcasts and stuff like that. You know, I'd be on the social media wave a lot. So
yeah,
it's just befitting.
Okay.
For me,
yeah.
Respectfully.
All right. So you'll bring some testosterone to our team. But yeah, okay. No, that sounds good. And Caroline or Zulika, and even Eugene, are there aspects of this that you are most interested in, whether it's like the community collaboration component or fundraising or things like that?
Community.
Awesome. I could tell. I mean, I got the sense.
Community. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sense I got.
Okay. Hi there.
Hi.
I love the presentation. I'm so happy to join you all tonight. What really caught my ear was the community engagement along with the social media aspects. I would love to volunteer and help this awesome initiative.
Okay. Thank you so much. And do you mind giving an intro? Because I know your audio wasn't working before.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Suleika Simon. What
just like I don't know where you live, what do you do, anything you feel like might be helpful for us to know who you are.
Yes, I live in Connecticut and I currently work at Chipotle rolling up burritos for the good people.
Hey. I like it. Gotta love a good Chipotle burger. Got it. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, absolutely.
And Caroline, are you able to share? Are you in a space where you could share what was interesting to you?
Yeah, I think definitely the community engagement part. I actually I'm supposed to give a presentation at my church about mental health.
Oh, awesome.
So, um, so I thought it was interesting that you mentioned that this kind of started from you giving a presentation. I hadn't really planned to tie mine to Christianity or spirituality, but if you have any like tips or ideas of how I should go about doing that, that would be helpful. But yeah, I think more like community engagement would be what
Got it.
I would.
Okay.
fit
Yeah,
in.
no, that's perfect. And Caroline, I'll say, so on my personal YouTube page, if you just like go on YouTube and search Dr. Tasha Jordan, one of my more popular videos on there is specifically like, what is the difference between spiritual health and mental health? And that might be even just like a good background to like look at, because that's probably honestly a question that may come up if there's going to be like a Q&A component of your talk. Even if you don't address it directly, people usually bring up some sort of question about like, how do we know this isn't demons? Or how do we know like it's not because I need to pray more, something like that. So being prepared to even at least just even answer those questions would be, I think would be helpful for you with your presentation.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I got a question also. So,
Yes.
I work Keystone First is AmeriHealth Caritas. So we have a volunteer program. It's through Care Crew, but we also have outside volunteers that everybody has to volunteer for the organization. You have to volunteer. So if you can send me some information, I can present that to my manager, and they can look into that and maybe add you into the program. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Can help you out.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much. So yeah, what I'll do after this email is, or not this email, this chat, I will email you all, and I'll include a recording of this talk. I'll include the slides as well.
Okay.
And then a link for you all to be able to like officially kind of just fill out real quick which of the committees you want to work on.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I appreciate that, Eugene. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. I know I just really appreciate you taking the time to come and learn more about the Christian Mental Health Initiative. We really run based on the efforts of the volunteer team. When I say this every time we have our meetings, I feel so blessed to have the team that I have. And one of the things that's been really great is just even how our teams function of that we can pray during our meetings. We have a group chat for the volunteers where, you know, people let us know if there's something going on in their lives and we pray for them, and just like give general support, drop Bible verses, things like that. So it's a really great community, and planning to continue growing it as much as we can. And I saw Zuleika that you have a question.
Yes. So question also in comment. I think you're an extra special lady because you, well, I can relate being Caribbean. My father's from Antigua, and I also have with mental health issues, and I stand on scripture and I love the Lord. And with that, you know, I think to myself, I wonder how things would have been different, you know, if I were maybe in school and there was like, you know, someone who looks like you who came by and gave the students awareness of mental health challenges and what does that look like in the home and how to have those conversations with our parents, with the doctor, or even with our peers. With that being said, do you see yourself expanding into schools?
Thank you, first off, for just even sharing about your own experiences, because I think that's one of the things that I try to encourage people to talk about, because the more we can just talk about it, the more the stigma decreases. So thank you so much. And yes, I have a lot of ideas, and I just need people to help me execute the ideas. So yeah, definitely would be happy to work with schools. And I think, because actually, so one of the roles I'm considering when I start my attending job after I graduate residency, part of it is to work within a med school setting that also connects with the community in Camden on, you know, how do we get like mental health care into schools? How do we get it into churches? How do we just get it into basically all of the different community spaces where people already exist? So yeah, it's definitely something I'm interested in. And I think one of the things I've considered from a Christian perspective as well is maybe not necessarily like going into schools in particular, but really addressing the youth services that churches have, and how can we bring that material into the resources that already exist. Because for instance, at my church, they have a weekly teens ministry that they have like 40 to 50 teens who come every week. And it would be amazing if we could incorporate some sort of a mental health curriculum into that. They've brought me in a couple of times, but it would be nice to like make that a little bit more regular than just like one-off conversations. So yeah, definitely something we're interested in. If you are interested in helping to lead something like that, I am very happy to support.
Yay, I'm all in. I honestly feel like, you know, you are very much someone's answered prayer. And girl, you have my, pardon me, Dr. Tasha, you have my back. I'm with you for the long haul.
I appreciate that. No, I like really do. So thank you all. I appreciate that. And I think a lot of the work that I do, it's really just because I feel like God has like called me to like impact community. And it's funny, one of the Bible studies I'm doing with my church right now is about the idea that we have to exist in community. We were not created to exist alone. So being able to do something that is about growing a community, CMHI as a community in and of itself, but then going out to impact our communities around us, that it's like really important to me. So thank you all for joining. And Zuleika, thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay. Alrighty, y'all. I will wrap it because I'm all about keeping to the time you promise people. So have a good night. And just look out for an email from me to wrap up what we chatted about today. Alrighty, have a good night.
Good night. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate
much.
you all. Alrighty, bye.